My name is Mike Tholfsen. I work on the Microsoft Education team. And today we're going to be doing the March version of What's New in EDU. We have lots of cool new stuff to talk about. Here's the agenda. And I'll also just put a reiteration here. The BED conference was a couple months ago in London, but we have all of the session decks and Learn Live Theater decks available to download. They're beautiful, cleaned up. You can present them in your own school or district. Everything from the Teach module to Learning Zone and Copilot plus PCs, Learning Accelerators, Minecraft. So this link right here on the screen lets you download all those BET presentations publicly. You can share them, use them, however you want. And another one I'm just going to reiterate because we announced this probably in October, but a lot of people still aren't maybe fully aware. The Teach module, which you'll see a lot about today, and the Study and Learn Agent, which you're also going to see today, are available at no extra cost to all Microsoft 365 education customers. So that means doesn't matter what license you have, A1, A3, A5, you have access to all these things, no extra cost. And the other one you'll see more details about, if you say, hey Mike, we use Canvas or Moodle or Schoology or other LMSs, we can integrate all the things we're going to talk about today into your LMS. So you don't need to use Teams necessarily. You don't need to use M365, Copilot. You can be having all these pieces integrated into your learning management system, and you'll learn more about that. But I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Max Fritz, who's going to talk about the Teach module update. So Max, I hand it to you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Mike. All right, so I'm here to talk to you about the Teach module, which, as Mike said, is our home for all of your teaching tools in M365, your AI teaching tools. Teach module is free, available to everyone who's here. It doesn't matter if you have A1, A3, A5, or if you don't know what I'm talking about. This does not require Copilot. Teach module is available inside of our Microsoft 365 Copilot app. I'm going to put a quick little link in the chat that'll bring you straight to it of aka.ms/teach. Otherwise, go to Copilot Chat and look for the Teach button. But we have a lot of stuff that is available inside of the Teach module, and even more that's not on the slide that my wonderful colleague Sam is going to talk about in a little bit here. But we have inside our lesson plan creation and the ability to create rubrics and quizzes and more. But we have some brand new stuff that we want to share with you today that is highlighted on the slide that I'm going to jump right into, starting with modifying your own content. So the Teach module has historically let you bring some of your own content to create something new, like a lesson plan or flashcards or a quiz out of it. But what if you want to just slightly alter the content you already have? Well, we've launched 4 new tools that should be available to all of you right now. We launched these a couple weeks ago. And these tools help you take existing content and modify them so that you can use something as a starting point and really alter it. So the first one is aligning with standards. And aligning with standards takes our wonderful standards data set that covers, I believe at this point, over 40 different countries worth of standards in the US down to the state level. You'll put in an activity or an assignment that you want to do for your students. You'll select your standards, up to 10 different standard strands. So here we're selecting the next generation science standards in the United States. We'll click generate on that, and it's going to create you a standards aligned list of objectives and a student facing task out of your inputs, including a standard alignment map so that you can actually show, here's how I'm teaching to the standards I said I would teach to. You can copy this text out, you can save it as a Word document to your OneDrive, really ready to go. There is a blog about standards that Sam just posted in the chat. And if you go into the tool and don't see the standards you're looking for or mentioned in Sam's blog, please go to this QR code, go to this short link, and tell us the standards you're looking for. What we put in here are recognized standards. So these are not necessarily school level individual standards, but if you are looking for government recognized standards that are not listed in there, please let us know. Next up, we have differentiating instructions. So let's say you have an existing set of assignment instructions and you want to alter that in some way. Go ahead and attach your file of assignment instructions or insert your text. You can start really simple and just describe your assignment instructions in a sentence or two. You're going to indicate what grade level and what kind of scaffolding you want this set to, and even what length, and then you'll hit generate. And we will come back to you with differentiated instructions that are built with the scaffolding you selected, really tailored to the grade level you selected as well. Those grade levels are US right now, but I'm happy to share that those grade levels are being enhanced to be a little bit more localized here in the next coming months as well. So here you can see we generated those. We were able to change the length of that from expanded to concise. So we just have a few bullet points we can take with us or take into whatever system we need to, again, copying or saving to OneDrive. And then we have two other tools which take existing text and will tweak it in some way, shape, or form. This is most simply just adjusting the reading level. So let's say you have some text from a PDF or a Word document, or you want to paste in, and you want to adjust the reading level of this. Here, you can bring it in, choose key terms that you want to preserve from it. We can help you identify those with AI and choose the level that you want to adjust it to. And we will keep those key terms intact, the core concepts from the text intact, and then bring to you a leveled set of text, including with a glossary from those key terms that you identified earlier. And the last tool is adding supporting examples. So much like the tool I just showed you, you're going to bring in your own existing text. We're going to keep that text intact. In fact, we're not going to edit anything of the text, but what we will do is we will add supporting examples that are either real world, historical, or scientific to help make this text more relevant to your students, really inspiring them and getting them maybe a little bit more included in the learning of, okay, when am I ever going to use Newton's second law of motion in my life, Mr. Fritz? Well, right here are a couple examples of how this is affecting you in a grocery store or as a soccer player. And we can even edit those and tweak those to be a little bit more in depth. Okay, so those are new Modify tools that are available to you today. I have three other things to show you that are coming in the very near-term future, starting with Minecraft Education Lesson Plans. So Minecraft Education Lesson Plans takes the greatness of Minecraft Education, which most of you should have access to, and brings it together with the Teach Module Lesson Plans tool, where you can describe a concept you want to teach, attach your existing materials or readings, choose your education standards and a lesson length, and we're going to create you a lesson that has a core activity by the students that is done inside of Minecraft Education. And if you've never used Minecraft before, you don't have to worry because we give you step-by-step instructions to get started. You just jump in, you create an empty blocks of grass world, and your students can start from there. Every one of these lessons, you don't have to set up anything as the educator. You just have to introduce the activity and show your students how Minecraft works, which I promise will be pretty quick and easy for them. So we're excited for you to try that out next month. Also next month, if you are on a Copilot Plus PC, you're going to hear more about this a little bit later in our webinar, but we have a tool called Learning Zone. Well, you will be able to launch Learning Zone straight from that Teach module to create interactive lessons. And last but not least, coming to everybody who's using the Teach module are some usability upgrades. We are introducing more sorting capabilities where you can look at tools you've used recently, tools that are new, tools that are popular worldwide, and importantly, favorite your most common tools so that you can get to them more easily. So we're excited for you to try all these things out. I'm going to hand things over to my colleague Samantha, who's going to show you, though, some of the learning activities that are both in the Teach module and accessible to students and educators in a distinct app.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max. All right, let me take control. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam, and I'm going to talk to you about learning activities. So we have some super exciting learning activities updates that I'm excited to share with you today. So learning activities, just like the Teach tools and the Study and Learn agent that you're going to see more about later, are also completely free and accessible with any existing Microsoft license for educators and for students 13 and up. So this is the really cool thing about learning activities. We have also released them to students. So if your students are 13 and up and have access to Copilot Chat, they can also create their own learning activities, which we know is a huge use case. We're already seeing about 2/3 of our usage coming from students. Learning activities includes flashcards, which was our first activity type, and fill in the blanks, which have both been GA for a while, as well as two new ones, matching and quizzes, which I will live demo here in a second. Okay. Yeah, and these will also be coming to your LMS with the Teach integration as well. So matching allows you I will go through and show what it's like to play a matching game. I'm going to share my screen. But matching allows you to match key terms and definitions. So this is my learning activities app. I'm currently signed in as a student. And so as you can see, I have flashcards, fill in the blanks, matching, and quizzes. Quizzes are only for students in the learning activities app. Educators can create quizzes in the Teach module, so we just didn't want to create any confusion. But if you're a student, you can create all of these things, and quizzes will be rolling out to GA next week. So these are coming super, super soon to everybody, and matching is already out there and already seeing a ton of awesome usage. So I'll show you what a matching game looks like. For this, you would generate it based on any grounding content, but just for time's sake, I will go ahead and just kind of show you what playing a matching game looks like. So I'm going to enter a nickname here, and then I'm going to start the game. So this learning activity allows me to generate these terms and definitions and then play a fun game. This allows me to see a leaderboard of times. So we've seen this with both educators using it with their students, and then as well with students using it with their friends as well and being able to share the game. So if I start the game, I'm racing against the clock now. All right, cool. Awesome. And as you see, if I click the wrong thing, I get that. Here we go. Cool. Excessive pride, a powerful force, fate. Okay, and then this is that last one here, and I can go ahead and see, okay, awesome. I can see my time, my match streak, and my accuracy. And then if I wanted to invite others, I could share that. If I'm playing this in a classroom setting, if I'm an educator who set this up for my students, I will be able to go ahead and see this leaderboard. Students can see the leaderboard and play against each other. We found this is a super, super fun one to make things very fun in the classroom. And then I'll also show what it's like to create a quiz from scratch really quick. So just like all the learning activities here, I'm able to add my learning content, so I can upload cloud files or upload from my device, or go ahead and describe the kind of quiz that I want here. So I'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to stay on the theme of Greek mythology here and use the Percy Jackson books and the hero's journey. I'll make this a little more specific. This was one of my favorite lessons. I'm going to set the language, the number of questions, and then awesome, I can go ahead and generate my quiz. So this is for students if they want to review material ahead of an exam or something like that. They can generate their own quiz to test themselves. So as you can see, it's really simple. I could even add a PowerPoint that my teacher has presented in class, or a PDF document of all my notes, or whatever it might be, and then generate a quiz for myself to check my understanding. Awesome, drafting all my questions. And then I have the option to either review the quiz to edit the question and answers, or I can jump right into that quiz and take it now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Awesome. So now I can go through and take this quiz. So I go through, I can see the points. And as you can see, it did exactly what I asked. It created this Hero's Journeys quiz and then applied it to the Percy Jackson series. So awesome. Okay, so that's matching and quizzes. Encourage you to check those out. And also, if your students have access to Copilot Chat, they can check those out too. We're also adding a toggle very soon that will allow you to turn on these learning activities, even if you don't have Copilot Chat enabled for your students. These are currently available in that Teach module and in the web app like I just showed. They're in the Study and Learn agent and study guides and in classwork for teams in Teams for Education. They are coming soon to assignments. This has been our top user request, the ability to distribute them via assignments. And also in Teams assignments, students will be able to choose any reference file and generate a learning activity from that as well if they have access to learning activities. And assignments means they're coming to the LTI too. So we know that that's really important. This will show up in your LMS. And then we're also working on adding them to OneNote class notebook. So this is an example of what that'll look like for educators, attaching learning activities to assignments. And then for students, when they open up an assignment, they'll have that option to generate a learning activity based on the file. If they click on that 3 dots menu, they can do that if they want to go a little bit deeper into the content or challenge themselves in a different way. And then this is that first version of our OneNote integration. We have multiple steps coming, but the first will be you'll be able to paste a link to a learning activity and it'll just work. You can just practice it within OneNote, and we will also be adding the ability to create and insert them directly into OneNote in the future as well. All right, I got one more slide before I hand it over to Anu. So we are also adding a new feature to assignments that allows you to set expected AI use. So this is really cool. As you can see, I have no AI use allowed, AI only used for certain things, or full AI use. And when I do that, I can actually set a prompt in Copilot if I allow it for full AI use that will link my students directly into Copilot into that prompt to make sure the guidelines are super clear to my students. This helps ensure responsible use, and it also helps ensure transparency. The number one thing I hear from students is, hey, I don't want to cheat, but I don't know, am I allowed to use it at all or not, not at all, or what does that look like? And so being able to really clearly communicate that in each assignment is key. Okay, I'm passing it over to Anu now to talk about the Study and Learn agent. And I will look at any questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. All right. I'm excited to talk to you about the Study and Learn agent. We have been noticing that there are some concerns around students using AI. There are three main concerns that are coming up. Number one, learning loss. Are students really thinking when they're working with AI? That's a concern that we're hearing. The other concern that we hear about is academic integrity. How do you know what work was done by the AI, what work was done by the students? It becomes really hard to be able to tell. I think underlying that concern, what we're hearing from educators is that, well, are my students really learning when they're working with AI? And then the final concern, which is the content produced by AI safe? Is it accurate? Is the data that is being generated by my students using AI going to be used for something that is not what I want it to be used for? It is with these concerns in mind, and to really bring personalized coaching and support to students when they need it, where they need it, the Microsoft Education team has now put into preview the Study and Learn agent. The Study and Learn agent helps students understand. They can practice with interactive activities like the flashcards, and there's more activities coming to the agent soon, and also study and practice any topic, a breadth of topics across K-12 and higher ed. Now, this particular agent is based on a foundation of learning science, and we worked with learning science experts to build this agent. I'm going to show you what it looks like in action. So I'll switch over and do just that. All right, here I am in M365 Copilot, right there in the left navigation bar under chat and search. Hold on, maybe my screen has not come through yet. Are you all seeing my screen okay? I don't see it. Okay, you all see it, but I don't see it. Okay, that's great that you all can see it. That's what matters. All right, here I am in M365 Copilot. Underneath chat, search, all of that. If you go to agents, you're going to find the Study and Learn agent. Most of you don't probably have research or analyst, so Study and Learn will be the very first agent your students will see in that left navigation bar. You will also be able to find the Study and Learn agent from this plus drop down in the Copilot chat itself. And now if I choose Study and Learn, what I have done is I have made it so that Copilot Chat is no longer what we jokingly call a know-it-all that gives you all the answers and does all the work for you, but a learn-it-all. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I were to go into Copilot Chat and say, how do I solve 3x plus 5 is equal to 20? It's very happy to solve that whole equation for me, giving me step-by-step solution and the answer. You probably don't want your students to do that when they're completing the assignments or getting some help when they're learning linear algebra. So if you were to go to Study and Learn agent and ask the exact same question, it's going to ask the student, well, what have you tried so far? And when the student responds, it is noticing where the student is stuck and then giving them feedback on the moment where they're stuck, the gap that they're stuck with, and just enough explanation to move them along to the next step to figuring out the answer for themselves. And so back and forth, the conversation goes with the agent, with the agent giving feedback, providing enough explanation and a question to help the student figure out the answer for themselves. And then when the student has figured out the answer, at that point in time, it's going to ask the student to check, how do you know you got that answer? Do you know that the answer is right? How will you check it yourself? And then when the student has figured that out so that they are independently also checking their answers, it will do a wrap up and checkpoint and ask them if they want another problem similar to it, go deeper, or if they're done at that point in time. Now you can use it for math to do word problems. And so here's a classic weight problem, relative speed, 2 trains traveling, that type that the student can work with. And here the student gets stuck and says, I just don't know. And so the agent is coming back with, and by the way, the student here is just me playing with Study and Learn, sort of demonstrating what the different types of students will do with the agent. It has come back with a breakdown of the problem, same process. Now, it gets even more interesting because you can upload your own lecture notes and handouts and be able to get interactive flashcards right there within the chat experience with Study and Learn. So here's a set of flashcards on the anatomy of the heart, and I can go through these flashcards similar to how you can in the Learning Activities app and with teachers creating them in the Teach module, and I can complete this flashcard. So, well, I think I know that. And so on I go. And when I'm done with the whole set, I can redo the whole set or just do the ones I missed. Now, interestingly, you can go even further and use the agent for a couple of other things. So if I were to write with the agent is not going to write for me. Here's a student trying to write an argumentative essay on whether social media is harmful or beneficial, and the agent is going to guide the student through the writing process and is going to help them figure out their position and figure out how to figure out your position, give them enough structure to do the writing themselves. And if the student gets stuck and goes, I don't even know what a good paragraph is going to look like for this essay, it will give them guidance on what a good paragraph will look like. Now, there's one last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to hand it over. If students were to be able to come in and ask the agent for a study plan, upload all your notes, you're getting ready for an exam, give it multiple documents, you can give it a PowerPoint, you can give it a Word file, you can give it a PDF. It will now have a conversation grounded on just those documents. Create a full study plan for the student. Here's what you need to study for this exam, how to study each topic, and suggest an overall plan, and then take them through each topic one at a time. And when they have figured out one topic with different explanation formats, it will then go on to the next topic, and so on it goes. So you can use it for long duration studying as well. The Study and Learn agent also has quizzes in it. So here we have a quiz. You can upload a document, give it a link. There, I just gave it a link about the expanding universe we live in, and I can do a quiz right here. And so I've been completing this quiz, and when I'm done with this quiz, and I think the answer for that is this, when I'm done, I am going to be able to see my results for this quiz, what I got right, what I got wrong, get explanations for the things that I didn't get right, and so on. That's the Study and Learn agent. The Study and Learn agent is now in preview, and I think somebody might have put the link to the preview already. You need to join the Microsoft Education Insiders community to get access to the preview. Mike, if you wouldn't mind sharing the deck again, that would be fantastic. And I'll wrap up with a couple of things, and I'll start speaking to the things I want to show you. The last few things I want to call out is this agent generates safe content. So it goes through the most rigorous testing that we can do on Microsoft's responsible AI standards. And so the content that you're seeing is completely safe. And
I'm also going to add, you need to have Copilot Chat enabled for students who are 13 plus. So even when it comes out, if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't see it in my school, you need to talk to your IT admin and enable Copilot Chat for your students who are 13 and above. And we have instructions in the link. I put it in here above in the chat, but it's crucial. Otherwise, no one can use this unless the IT admin enables it, is the summary.
Exactly. And the data stays with your tenant. We do not use it to train the LLM. Also, the content has gone through rigorous red teaming because M365 Copilot Chat itself is safe for learners 13 plus on adult content, violence, self-harm, hate, and fairness, and so on. And here is a link to the preview. Again, you need to be part of EDU Insiders, and your IT admin needs to have turned on Copilot Chat to be able to bring this agent to your tenant. But once you sign up for the preview, we will roll it out to your tenant, and your students 13 plus will have access to it. So with that, I am going to hand it off to my colleague.
Live.
Yeah, take it away.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Learning Zone. So Learning Zone is a new application that is now generally available for everyone using Windows. We have a kind of new rich interaction that are on this Windows machine. And if you have a Copilot plus PC, you can also generate new content there. In addition to new content created, we also added a library of rich functionalities ready to use already. You can use those things for any Windows PC, but Copilot PC is needed for us doing it on to generate new content. So let's see how that goes. I'll put a quick video here to show kind of the flow of the experience. So first of all, you download this from the App Store. You can create new content by adding your set of sources, like for instance, looking at inflation from OpenStax and then talking about those experiences. as we are creating the lesson itself, you can review it. And of course, as you are looking at the lesson generated, you can update stuff like your images directly in your lesson plan or lesson, or you can go into individual items, add more distractors for fill-in-the-blank experiences, or adding more content for your true and false. Once you're done, create the lesson, you can save it with to your server with the students, either directly inside Learning Zone, or you can use in the future also directly inside assignments or LMS system. As a student goes through those things, you can do more interactivity, so both reading the content as well as doing things like matching or different experiences like sort and grouping is coming up forward as well. In addition to the work that we can do within Learning Zone, as I said, we also have the ability for us to look at how the student's doing. So you have a rich insight for you to see how students are doing, how they're struggling with, what they're doing in the first place. We also have the ability, in addition to the interact lesson, to create a Kahoot quiz. So Kahoot quiz, of course, is using the Kahoot service. So you automatically create a Kahoot quiz for you to publish to your students. And in addition to the Kahoot quiz, we also have the ability for you to create your existing content by using the lesson that we're building already from NASA, Figma, Microsoft Education, and so forth, basically. So a lot of content built in directly into Learning Zone. So what is coming next? So right now it is inside the Windows application. We are also adding a direct creation for us, creation from the Learning Zone application from Teach. So we have that startup there as well. And we're building it directly into assignments, both inside Teams, inside of LMS system, which means that the student will have one embedded experience of both LMS and Teams. So when you create the lesson, they will be inside Teams or in the browser, cannot leave any application in the first place. So excited about that going forward. We're adding a couple of more practice options coming forward. So in addition to matching and sorted with here, we're adding new things like grouping and sorting that's coming up later next quarter. And then we're adding more ability for supporting richer images as well. So right now we have default images, but now we're adding ability for you to add and insert new images. So that's cool to see. And we're also looking at adding the images directly from your reference file. So if you reference a file, we'll take those images as well. Max was showing all the cool standards we have inside Teach. We're adding the same standards here to Learning Zone as well. So you can group them in kind of our same standard that support across all our education experiences. And then last but not least, as you saw, we have a lot of these pre-built lessons for us. And just to give you a little bit of a kind of inspiration, I guess, we say call things, we're adding a spotlight lesson. So each month we're looking at kind of a new kind of classroom-ready skill to use, and it could be certain based on some theme of the month as well. So these are coming as a kind of note for you each month as well. And with that, I will turn over to my colleague Emma to talk about all our LMS integration functionality.
Thank you, Leif. Hey, everyone. I'm Emma, and I'm excited to share some updates on our LMS integrations. I'll go through this sort of speedy for time, but we'll make sure that we drop all the links in the chat for you as we go here. So we are really happy to share that the M365 LTI is public. It's GA. It's available for everybody in your LMS. So this is an LTI 1.3 Advantage integration, works with most major learning management systems, and it brings all of our M365 goodness, OneDrive, Teams meetings, assignments, and more straight into your learning management system. And so this includes learning accelerators with our AI enhanced learning tools, straight in assignments, right where you're assigning things in your normal platform. So this is Blackboard, Schoology, Canvas, Moodle, you name it. We're working with most major providers on this to make sure that this works properly with all of the major platforms. And this includes reading coaches as well. So not in the assignment format, but for that student self-driven, fully embedded reading practice completely in your learning management system. That is available today now as well. Coming soon, we have Create with AI in your LMS. So a lot of that goodness that you see in Teach, in the Teach module and the M365 Copilot app, you're going to be able to see in your LMS as well. This is going to help you modify existing content and draft new lesson plans and do all kinds of other goodness. And that is coming into preview very soon. And finally, we are bringing M365 Copilot along for the ride as
well. So Copilot Chat will be available right in your LMS. We are doing all kinds of interesting exploration around data integrations for this. Teach module everywhere. Exactly right. And the hope is to have this in preview very soon as well. So I'll hand it off to Mike to wrap us up with a couple things on AI for IT administrators, and I'll drop some LMS links in the chat.
Great, thanks, Emma. And this is just to reiterate, kind of mentioned it in the chat already, and I think especially for this Study and Learn agent, which is coming out soon, and also learning activities, at least for right now, you need to enable Copilot Chat for students who are 13 and above. And so this, make sure your IT admins know this. You can set up your different age groups. You can upload a CSV or an Excel file that defines, like, here's my 100 students who are ages 14, here's my 200 students who are ages 16, and then you can enable specifically for these different groups, and you can set if you're a K-12 tenant. Pretty easy to do, but you will need to do this to unlock a lot of those student study and learn features that you saw. And that's available today. And then just a reminder for those of you that aren't already in our awesome Education Insiders program, there's a link here you can join. And if you're in that, you can get the latest updates on our roadmaps. You can join early product previews. Our call often will run new ideas and concepts and prototypes by our insiders. And we have regular internal webinars where we share all the cool top secret stuff. So encourage you to join that. There's also many resources and links, and this entire deck will be available as well. So I'm going to just speed through the ending part. There's also just an M365 Copilot app tutorial. So just the basics of getting started with chat and images and just how to prompt better and grounding sources and things like that. So here is the link to the PowerPoint deck. I always like to make sure that this QR code works, because sometimes in the past, like, it's not wired up quite right. So hopefully someone can give that a test, and we can also paste that link into the chat.